Everyone, Coach Nicole coming at you from my living room. Again, in continuing with what I wanted to work on, things that you could do in a really, really small space. What we're going to work on specifically today, while you all are practicing social distancing and hanging out with your family and enjoying this time, is here's something that you might not think of, and you don't really do it in water, but it's really, really important because we know water polo players have shoulder issues. So what are some shoulder activities and shoulder exercises that you can do? These you can actually build up to varying degrees even while we are in water polo season. They're super, super good for you. You're going for a small amount of weight and you're trying to exhaust the little tiny muscles in your arms. You're not trying to work on the big muscles like the bicep or the tricep. There's a bunch of little muscles within your rotator cuff that you want to strengthen so that it gives you more stability and it decreases the chance of any injury. So for starters, I know Coach Beto did these in his video, but it's pretty good, pretty classic. You always want to warm up. The two warm-up exercises that I really like are arm circles. So starting little and then progressively getting bigger, and then doing the same backwards. So starting little and then getting progressively bigger until you're doing the full arm circles. Those full arm circles, once you get there, you really, at the very end, you really want to make sure that you're getting the full range of motion in your shoulders. The next one are field goals, and field goals are actually a really, really, really good and important exercise that are often done wrong. So field goals, if I'm in field goal position here, what you should feel is your shoulder blades pinching, and then what I want you to do is exacerbate that. So really pinch your shoulder blades back, and then you go up, and then come back down, all the while pinching your shoulder blades completely together. Okay, up, and then back down, up, and then back down. So that's gonna get your entire shoulder. You should feel it in the front, you should feel it in the back. One of the things that is really, really, there are two really important things in that drill. The first is pinching your traps all the way back. Pinch, 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 keep them pinched. And the second is taking your time. It's not this. And that's something that young athletes struggle with all the time. Do things fast. Oftentimes, your body actually, you want to do things slowly. You want to really challenge the muscle by elongating the time that it's taking to do something. So those are my two warm-up exercises. Hopefully you feel pretty good after those. The tools that you're going to be using, you can get them around the house. Cans, just canned food, highly recommend. You can also use things like spaghetti sauce. If you have water bottles, you can fill up water bottles. Make sure that they're about the same weight. You don't want one can of air and one can that's really heavy. So cans, and we're gonna do the shoulder classic, which are called IYTs. So what you're gonna do is these are not muscle gaining exercises. These are shoulder stabilizing exercises. So when I work on shoulder stuff, I call it the 3 S's of the shoulder. So you're gonna wanna work on stretching, you're gonna wanna work on stability, and you're gonna wanna work on strength. So those are the 3 things that you always have to think about with your shoulder. Whenever I do anything, I wanna make sure that I'm wide chest, pinch my traps, all right? So pinch my shoulder blades, and then I'm just gonna come up, and you can do, depending on how hard it is for you, anywhere from 15 to 20. So these are your eyes. You want to do 15 to 20, and then you want to do 2 to 3 reps of it. It'll feel so easy at first. It won't feel easy for the entire duration. Why? Same thing. You want your shoulder to be at a 45-degree angle. This is actually the ideal angle for your shoulder joint. It's a ball and socket sort of joint. And so 45 degrees is actually its most natural angle. So this is the angle that your shoulder will actually be most comfortable in, but we don't think about exercising the corresponding muscles. So that's what Ys are for. So Ys are gonna be that 45-degree shoulder angle. Again, pick a number, 15 to 20, 2 to 3 sets of them. First set will be really easy. Gets a lot harder after that. The last one are T's. So T's, you want to bend over, flat back. You want to hold on to the cans nice and completely, and then you're just going to lift and down and And so these are the T's. Really pinch the back at the top, come down. Again, it's slow and controlled. The next is going off of our field goals. It's called the overhead press. Now here's where you're gonna have a little bit of flexibility and you can challenge yourself. So we do lightweight when we do a lot of reps. And so it feels really easy at first. It's actually overhead press. So you're just gonna press up. What I want you to focus on when you do the press, obviously this is really light. You probably wanna use something a little heavier than this. When you press up, what I want you to think about is your traps. You wanna really squeeze, okay? You don't want these forward in shoulders. You wanna really extend those shoulders back. This is good posture anyway, right? Really wide shoulders, broadening those shoulders. So when you do exercises, you have to focus on that. We don't focus on it when we're doing schoolwork. You have to really focus on that good posture when you're doing exercises, especially exercises that are so specific to your shoulders. So those are overhead presses. Highly recommend 3 to 4 sets of 10 to 15 of those, probably something a little heavier than this. This is one that I worked on a lot when recovering from shoulder injuries, and this is working on that pass motion. When we're in the water, though, we only have this amount, right? We can't get, like a baseball pitcher is gonna be able to get that full rotation here, but look at what happens with a baseball pitcher. As soon as they open that leg up, that's like our leg. So what you can do to mimic that is just start in this position. And this is essentially the water polo position where I can work on it. And this is an activity about recovery. So one of the things that we don't always do when we throw is recover. So what we can work on is slowing our arm down. So I'm just gonna pretend pass. I also am working on keeping my elbow nice and high. This is also gonna work that core. So what happens is when you throw the ball, the opposite muscles from the throwing muscles actually slow your arm down. So this is a way to control that and train them. And I know it looks really weird and you want to do it with both sides, and I know it feels weird, but it really works on your technique and works on the back of your shoulder muscles and helps strengthen them so that when you throw the ball, you can actually slow your arm down, which prevents injury as well. This is, in case you want a little core with it, anything with planks, anything with push-ups are gonna be really good for the shoulders. So a couple of iterations of this that are really good. So you have your regular plank, right? And then a couple of things you can do with it. You can actually lean forward and then back. Forward and then back. So you're leaning forward. I'm not putting my butt up, but I'm leaning forward, trying to, here, I'll show you from the side. So here's my regular plank. Then I'm gonna lean forward, come back. Lean forward, come back. And it really exercises sort of the whole joint of the shoulder. So that's a really good one. The next one with regard to planks are gonna be side planks. So this one, you wanna make sure that your wrist is directly under your shoulder. You wanna come here. So hope you found this helpful. If you have any questions, shoulders and hips are two things that I take really seriously in terms of flexibility, mobility, and strength. So if you have any questions or want ideas for making it more challenging or doing something a little bit different, or if you don't, something doesn't feel right, feel free to reach out. If not, keep staying safe, enjoy your time with your family. Hope to see everybody back in the water soon. Peace.